All right, folks, this is where we left off last night. We got everything on except this step, and I got in here. I didn't get in no hurry this morning getting out here to the shop. Miss Kay kind of got on to me about she hadn't even hardly seen me. I stayed gone during the week working, so I kind of dabbled around and took my time getting out of the house, but got the drill there, put my bolts through the catwalk and the bridge, and then I put a bolt through the side like I did the other side. Got it clamped. It's pretty much leveled up and got it clamped, and I'm getting ready to put a little bead of weld on both sides and then down the side. Get it in there, get it welded in there pretty good, and that'll also keep the bridge from sliding back and forth. Like I said last time on the last video, I ain't gonna put no more bolts. I'm gonna bolt the back on that. I'm gonna bolt them down. You got these two bolts on each side. You got two and two on each side. That's good enough. It ain't going nowhere. Lord, it can't fall off, and it ain't gonna rear up, because if it rears up, this is gonna catch it. So we're in good shape. I got to do a little bit of, I don't know if y'all can see that thing shaking, but I'm gonna run some lateral flat bar this way and tie. Then I'll put me a piece of flat bar across this too, and that'll tie this piece to this piece to this piece, and that should take a lot of that shake out. And I'll put one down here in the bottom too, and that'll take a lot of that shaking stuff out, I think. Shouldn't be anything in here, shouldn't be anything in there, maybe some ratchet straps. Stuff that's in the cab, I'm gonna try to put in here. If I can keep it from leaking, I'm gonna put some weather stripping around this edge. Might try to put a new latch. This latch, I think this used to, on these, whenever you turn it, that locks it. But then whenever you flip that down, it pulled the lid closer. And I think if you had that on there, shoot, it didn't even lock. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something a little bit different. Hey, they sell them at Rural King, but we'll probably just put a new latch on there. And then you can see the lid's kind of tweaked, so I'll probably tap him with a hammer on the lower side here and try to straighten him up some. We'll give that thing an acid bath, and that'll turn it pretty much snow white like we did the tank. And then I'll probably maybe set in the polishing a little bit. I won't polish too much, but maybe get it to look a little bit clearer. If you ain't careful, you polish one thing, shine one thing up, then you got to shine it all up. You got to shine the steps up. You got to shine the headache rack up, and then it's a work truck, people. Working class. So let's put this bead of weld on here and see what else we can get into before lunch. Well, we got the last piece thrown outside, so I got it measured out, and I got it drawed out on paper here. That's going to be, it's going to be for this this piece in here first, and then it's going to come down, and there'll be a break in it right here. And then I got another piece laying out there that's left over. We'll use it up from here this way. And I think I was going to block this off, but I'm not going to, because I'd like to have this where I get into my bolts easy. I can, spray this out with a pressure washer. You can actually visually inspect down in here. So instead, we're going to cover this up, so the plate will go straight across, and it'll kind of overhang maybe about an inch or so on this. I want to eliminate this hazard right here. This is a hazard. When you step in and off the wagon down there, the 35-ton fixed neck, you have a tendency to step in that hole. I can run this air line, run it up through the bottom. That way it won't be affecting anything. And then let's cover this up. We'll run us a piece of flat bar down, a piece of flat bar across. Might use angle iron, I don't know. Probably use flat bar though. Might even build like a little frame in here just to kind of give it a little bit more rigidness. So this will be one piece, and this will be one piece. Because the main reason why I built all this was to be able to get on and off the trailer and over onto the chain rack, which I'm bad for just throwing the chains and binders up on the trailer and just headed home, but legitimately I wanted to be able to get it on and off the truck and then go from the chain rack step over onto the neck of the trailer. When we do pull a detach, and I am going to buy a detach, I'm going to buy me a short Pitts. I'm going to check and see if Talbert will make me a short Talbert like a short Pitts, but they're a small contender. They got some up there, but they're all metal decked. I don't want metal decked, I want wood. But they metal deck them so that way these pipeliners can side load. So they'll just pull into an area, they'll drop the neck. They won't take the neck off, but they'll drop the trailer down on the ground, and then they'll side load. They'll just go up on the side of the trailer, and they use the metal instead of the wood. I guess it makes it more strong or makes it slide better. I know it would make it slide. And I don't want no metal trailer. I want a wood deck. But anyway, so we're building all this in anticipation of pulling a detach. We pull Mark's 35-ton detach, not real often, but often enough to need some fenders. And we want functionability and kind of, I think it's going to look pretty sharp. I really do. I think it's going to look sharp. Now, if I wasn't as impatient as I was, I'd actually sand it all down, primer it, and paint it the same color as a truck. But we're not. We're going to do that oil-based Rust-Oleum black. It dulls down after a couple months or whatever, but if something happens, you scratch it, or something happens, you dent it, and you got to cut something out and repair it, you just take your a rattle can, clean him up, and you're good. Let's go out here and mark this plate, and we'll go ahead and get it cut before we have to go. Before we go lunch with my girl, my women. Miss Kay's still laid up in the house. She's not allowed to go anywhere yet, so it's just me and the Dirt girls. We're going to a new place. We usually go to Highway 55. I love Highway 55, but we're going to try a new place in Barbersville today, I think. All right, very important when you're doing this to maintain. I like to be in some situation I can actually visualize where it's going to be when I'm marking it out. It says this is 48, so the 48's this way. Making sure I get my geography right here. Alright, that's the front of the truck right there. So now we need to let's pull tape. Let's pull tape on 63. Let's get this front. This is the front of the truck. 63 here, right off the bat. And I do not look forward to cutting all this out. Just want to clarify that I do not. Okay, there's 63. Sometimes I'll write on there what my line marks are. Just so I don't lose them. Now we need to measure down. We measure down 24. It'll make more sense maybe once I get it all marked out. We'll get all this marked out before we gotta go. Alright, then at that 24 line, which, let's see, need to put one about in the middle here somewhere. That way our level, we ain't got but a 4 foot level. It'll mark, it'll make it. Let's go ahead and get us a line. You don't have to go all the way across. It'll make sense in a minute. I usually do pretty good at this. When I first did one, I got up on the back of a creeper with an ink pen, a piece of paper just like that right there. I went up underneath the tractor and measured. That's how I made my first belly pan. That's how I learned how to do it. Learned it by fire. Was it trial by fire? Is that what y'all call that? Now we're gonna come in 15 inches. 63. Let's go ahead and clean this up a line here to go by. This will all make a little bit better sense once we start cutting it. That's why there's white paint all over my level. The white marker shows up about the best. I've got green ones and blue ones. And what it is, I think it's getting cold out here. Flip the felt over. That looks pretty good. Use every so often you gotta flip your felt over a little bit. There we go. Now we got some paint. I don't know why we need to mark that in. So that's the front of your trailer there. Now you got to come in 15 inches. And then we're going straight back now. This should be 33 inches on each side. So usually I find my marks and measure off the back. And we're just going to pull a tape line on this one. That gives us a 15-inch mark. We got a notch out too. Remember, we got a notch out for the where the arms or the legs are on the chain rack, but we'll get that. I think it's easier to get it. We'll get it laid out here, and then we'll put it on top. We'll get it cut out, and we'll put it on top of the truck, and then we'll notch out for that. That won't be a big deal. Back outside here because it'll be lighter and easier to carry. We'll bring it back outside here real quick and cut it out. I've been wanting to buy me a plasma cutter. My brother has one, And I usually use it. Every time I use it, I tear the daggone thing up. And then, you know, he uses it to make a living with. It ain't like anything of mine. I don't use my stuff to make a living. I use my stuff on my own stuff. Okay. So that's basically how you mark out. I know there's a lot of other ways to do it. There might be some people that's going to comment and say, why don't we do it this way or why don't we do it that way? Well, that's just the way I do it. So that's I don't know if I got enough time. Probably shouldn't even cut that out. Let's go take these little women for lunch and then we'll be back. And then we'll cut this out. Okay. Got a guy coming after some mining belt. Get up underneath there in a minute, make sure the clamp's still in. Let's get a couple tacks. That way it can be cool down while I'm waiting. I'm not going to weld all this up solid. I'm just going to put stitches in it. What's going on, old buddy? Well, guys and girls, I've already took the ladder off this side before I picked up the camera, but right there she is. It's about 90% complete. I gotta go back on what you can't see and do a little bit of finessing, but she's pretty much ready to be took off, and gotta finish welding. Cap these ends off. I cut them at an angle and then capped both of them off. And I got some good stitch welding on the joint there. Everything else is pretty much solid beads. Got to do a little bit of cleaning up here and there. That's my thing about my welding. I mean, I like it to look pretty, but I'm not that daggone particular. As long as it's holding, I want it to look good, but I want it to hold more than I do anything. Cap this end off. I think she's gonna look pretty good. I think she's gonna look really good once we get him finished up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this hole in here. I wanted to cap it off, but I don't know. I just hated to cap that off. I just think if I cap that hole off, I'm gonna be asking for problems, because every time I turn around, if I need to do anything, I'm gonna have to take the daggone deck off of it. See, the way it is now, you can get in here and work on stuff, and you can look inside there and see your brakes and see if your seal's leaking. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I should probably cap it off, but I just didn't want to. I just thought that, it's not really a safety hazard. You can see good enough right there, I think. So I'll probably regret it, but as of right now, no, we're not going to cap it off. It'd be a little bit of a radius there to do too, because you're actually going to have to bend a piece of steel plate to go in there, because you've got 3 radiuses. You got this, and then this. So we're going to probably just leave it open. That way you can get a pressure washer in there and clean everything real good. I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks really good. So let's get everything off of it and get him set off and finish the welding up. I don't think I'm gonna get much more done today, but we'll see what we can do. All right, we got him off. I think we'll be all right, but it's got a little bit of flex in it that we're going to be really careful, because when we go to weld him up more solid, whatever way she is the way she's going to be. So we have to be really careful, making sure we position it to where there's no additional strain on anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to, it'd be crazy to weld upside down right here. So what we'll actually do is I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna weld everywhere that's good and flat, and I'll weld all inside here, maybe weld some vertical or horizontal. And I'll probably go back and I'll touch up some spots like here and there, and then of course I'll weld all this stuff where she's good and flat. And then all up in there too, I'll do the same thing. I'll weld everything I can while it's standing in this direction. And then I think I'll probably I might put me like 1 or 2 pieces of flat bar here and there, just to kind of give that a little bit more strength to it. And then I'll stitch weld wherever I can on my plating. I'll stitch weld everything around the edges and all that, just like I did on the outside where you can see now. I'll reach back, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get up underneath there and weld that. Everything that I can get to now that I couldn't before, I will. And then I'll flip this thing up on the side or whatever I gotta do to make sure I get everything welded good. So I probably will start working on that tonight. I may pull these toolboxes off, which this ain't much. I can take the tank and the toolbox off and then finish welding up my brackets, and I may do that. I don't know. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. My legs are getting a little tired from standing on this concrete for the last 3 days, so I might just head toward the barn. But anyway, let's see what we can get into before we call it a day. to weld it where multiple pieces come together. I want to weld it on both sides. That's what I would do. I'm tucking up underneath there, and I'm putting little spot welds all through it. It'll still flex. Its main frame is 3-inch C-channel, so there's not a whole lot of rigidity there. So it's going to flex. Flexing is okay. We could have made out of tubing and probably took a lot of flex out of it. We don't care about the flexing. We just don't want it to break. And you've got a stitch weld. If you've got a stitch weld, which is spot, 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 you've got to stitch it on both sides, and it's not as strong. It's only strong one way. It will pop loose. I like to put, a couple little stitches on both sides. It don't hurt. And it'll make it a little bit stronger. Now we got to do down these. I might not be the best welder in the world, but I can usually make stuff stay. I don't even enjoy welding. I don't like to weld. I've never liked to weld. It was just something that I had to learn how to do. Because I couldn't afford to pay somebody all the time. So I had to learn how to do it. Old welding jack, it's just about that. Ready when this one's over with. I never did like to weld. I learned to weld because I had to learn to weld. I ain't gonna say I know how to weld. I'm just gonna say I know how to gone on there. But I did that because I had to. When I went into business myself, I couldn't afford, I still can't afford to do it all, or to pay somebody to do everything. So you learn how to do stuff. Just make sure it got just about everything. I really don't want a solid bead that. Now I know I solid beaded this, but I don't want to do that down in size. I booty on that. I think I gotta come over here. I don't have to, I can leave it running. That's got cleaned up spot welds down that side. Solid, good. All this down here has been stitched, it's good. But we don't need these. We just gotta run a couple down. Well, we'll do it now while we got it in this position. Let me go get this, go get me a ladder, and I'll stand on that ladder and we do that top part. We'll get this done and over with. And I'll check back with you. I don't want to keep boring you. Well, as far as I know, this one's done. I was going to put a couple uprights, some flat bar on that, and I still might do it. But I got all the bottom flat bar in. I might back up and put one here now. I don't know. I'm tired, I'm ready to go. My feet's killing me from this concrete for the last weekend. But for the most part, she's pretty much done. I think I've got it. The only I got left to do is somewhere or another, I gotta cut a couple holes to put the wet line nozzles through, or fittings through. I gotta do that still, but majority of it's done. I mean, it's you could call it. Gotta add a couple things here and there, I guess. But I'm done. I'm tired of the welding gas and my eyes and everything. So I'll back up here and get you a good look at her there. She's tidied up good. She's tidied up real good. We'll start tearing the truck down. I'll be back Thursday night. So Friday morning, Friday's Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I'll probably get back in here real quick. Not real quick, but get in here and take the oil tank, the toolbox off, weld those brackets up real good, get them finished. Then I think I've got some rusty metal primer. Hopefully I do. Because then what I'll do is, after I get the brackets and get all the welding finished up on this one, I'll get it all cleaned up real good. I might go ahead and do a coat of primer on this and the brackets, and then while it's drying, I'll get back on the frame and needle scale the frame. I gotta pull the headache rack or the chain box off. I'm gonna go ahead and take all that off too, because we gotta paint all around it. And most likely, like, this thing's gonna be out of service until she's done, because I ain't no way I'm gonna put all this stuff back on the truck and then turn right around and take it all back off to paint the cab, because the headache rack, the chain rack's gotta come off. Well, in order to get it off, you gotta take the fender and the walk boards off. So it'd be easier just to go ahead and just do it all at one time. I can just work on it on the weekends and stuff and get it ready, and I can shoot it. It ain't too awful bad in here as far as dirty wise goes, but you can see a little bit of smoke in the air. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to the house. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be back at it in Wyoming County tomorrow. I'll try to do a little bit better job at getting us some dirt footage tomorrow and get us something going on with that. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Share, like, subscribe, tell your buddies. Really holding in here to get this channel off the ground. Appreciate everybody who comments and appreciate everybody who hits like. I mean, I do. I try to respond as quick as I can and everything. So thanks, guys.